Uh-huh.
Hi, this is Risa, and today I am interviewing Demonds Johnson, who I met a couple of weeks ago when I was having a contest to win a mezuzah, and Demonds Johnson, along with at least 50 other people, responded to the email, and these were all emails that came in. I read every single one of them, and I thought what Demonds wrote was really so touching. I just wanted to read what he wrote and why he wanted to win this mezuzah. And then I looked down, well, I'll tell you what he wrote. He said, the mezuzah truly is a beautiful piece. If in fact I did end up winning this amazing gift, as much as I would love to hang it above my home door, I would bless my beloved mother with it and allow her to display its beauty in her home. So I thought that was really, really beautiful. And then I looked down at your signature line. I see your name, that you're president, a CEO, and I thought, just out of curiosity, I'm going to check out your website and learn more about you. And we emailed back and forth. Your resume is really fascinating. So I thought that it would be a great opportunity to learn more about you. And I learned that you were Jewish, that is it your mother or your father who's Jewish?
Mother.
Your mother is Jewish. So I thought, since I have a Jewish website, I'd like to learn about your Jewish upbringing. So I had a few questions for you. But you know what, if you could first tell me a little bit about yourself. In your resume, you served in the Army for over 20 years. You're a master fitness trainer, and now you're an owner of your own fitness company. So if you could just speak to what you're doing now, what you did and what you're doing now.
So yeah, I was obviously a high school athlete prior to the military. So I always knew I wanted to do something with fitness. I actually went into the military and to pursue, obviously, service to country, but more so to pursue wrestling. I was a high school wrestler, and instead of
my son's a wrestler.
Good deal. So, just over time, obviously, wrestling and exercise, I should say, took a bit of a back seat with the deployments. I joined in 1992. So it was at the very end of the initial Kuwait, Saudi Arabia entire thing. So wrestling took a bit of a backseat, as did exercise. But fast forwarding, once the deployments were at a low point, I came back. I decided, okay, well, I want to train other athletes, obviously, because I was away from the sport for a while, but I still knew how to train. So I went into the Army's equivalent of a health and wellness certification, which is the Army Master Fitness Program. And that teaches you all aspects about physical fitness and how to train other soldiers. At that time, I also became the Army Weight Control Program Coordinator. And that, again, is our equivalence of a civilian nutritionist and or dietitian. So we manage body fat percentages, pounds, and body mass index. So throughout, I kind of focused on setting up the unit's physical fitness program to make sure they were physically ready, while still deploying, while still being a full-time soldier myself. Fast forward to here, I came to Michigan in 2007. And when I initially got here to Michigan, I'd already knew after I wanted to continue exercise. So, but 2009, we came up with an idea called Exercise for Medicine. And what we wanted to do, because of the obesity epidemic, we wanted to show that instead of prescribing an endless amount of meds, we would prescribe exercise and monitor the before and the after. And that program was such a huge success. So hence A2 Fitness was born.
Who's we? You said we.
So I always refer to we. We have we is the entire team. We have a family concept. So all of the employees, all of the friends, fellow health and wellness folks, we all got together and we talked ideas, and that's pretty much how the company was born. So the company was born initially to to address obesity, but then it went into just the entire approach to health and wellness. So, I mean, our approach is a little bit different than a regular gym or a regular exercise facility, because it's based on a total life concept, if you will.
Right, right. That sounds wonderful. So you've been in business there, you said, since 2006?
Since 2009 officially.
2009.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Did you always know that you wanted to start your own business? And were you trained in being a fitness trainer in the Army, or you went straight from high school into the Army and that?
Yeah, straight from high school into the Army. And then I did the Master Fitness certification, but I also took some civilian certifications as well prior to retiring. I retired actually in 2012. So that was the tough part, because the company was formed in 2009. So I still had a lot of work to do. I was juggling trying to set up a company at the same time I was being deployed here and going to train here. So it was interesting. But to answer the question, yeah, I always knew that I wanted my own company, and I always knew that I wanted it to be based on paying it forward, giving back to people. How could I do my part to help people in general?
That's wonderful. Did you know going into the Army that you would be there for 20 years?
I did not.
What kept you in there after your 4-year stint?
It was a lot of, it was just interesting. Every time someone asked me about the military, I was just fortunate enough to kind of sort of have a wee bit of say in the entire, just shy of 21 years. I mean, the intent was to go in, serve my initial 6-year term, and pursue I have a degree in education, so I was going to be a school teacher.
Right.
But then, it's just on and on and on, and the relationships formed, and it was again a sense of well-being, a sense of being able to say, okay, well, I may not be solving the overall problem, but I'm doing my part. And if everybody did just a fraction, the world in essence would probably be a better place.
Yes, yes. Just even wanting to be a teacher, and you're a teacher in a way too. Being a trainer is helping people. My mother was a teacher. My mother-in-law's a teacher. My sister-in-law's a teacher. So
excellent.
It's a wonderful occupation to be. It is giving back. Okay, so if I could backtrack to your childhood, you were raised Jewish.
Yeah.
What were the Jewish traditions that were instilled in you as a child growing up?
So it was really tricky, because in my household and in New Orleans, Louisiana, it's religion. It's religion, culture, and just the overall stigmatism, especially at that time. Being Jewish at that time, it was like a small section of the area.
Mm-hmm.
So the family, not more so I don't want to say more so my father, but I'll say more so my mother was really observant in the Sabbath day. She was observant and all major all major holidays. She pretty much set aside. So even that part was a little bit tricky, when we talked about New Year's, when we talked about just so juggling. In essence, I don't want to say juggling two different religions, but I want to say juggling kind of two different outlooks, where I had the really orthodox part here with my mother, and then I had my father was super supportive, so he understood everything, but he just was not 100% in, I'd say.
Right. Was there conflict between your parents or your father? Did you celebrate Christmas also?
No, not really. And that, so I mean, we did, you know, we did Hanukkah, um, but it was more so, you know, just our immediate family.
Right.
Wasn't the, all of the families coming together. And 'cause my mother's family was small, whereas my father's family was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of sort of, even in our old neighborhood, we didn't really have. I mean, to be frank with you, I remember being teased up until about eighth grade. So I mean, you had a lot of just trying to fit in and trying to fly under the radar as a kid. Kind of created conflict for me and my older brother.
Mm-hmm. Did you light this? Did your mother light the Shabbat candles? Did you light the menorah for Hanukkah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we still, if you went home to, you know, to my mother's place, it's still set up. I mean, you would still see a lot of the traditional and Orthodox, you know, things going on.
Right. Did she keep a kosher home?
Yeah, as much as possible.
Right.
You know, and they're, you know, I'll go ahead and add that my parents divorced when I left for the military.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, like, I was in basic training and I called home, and then they just pretty much told me, hey, you know, we're gonna go our separate ways. It wasn't a bad divorce. Well, I guess all divorce is bad, but it wasn't really like, you know, hey, we hate each other. It was
Right.
just, you know, they kind of drifted apart. And I think, yeah, a lot of factors probably, you know, played into it.
Did you have a Jewish education outside of the home? Like, did you go to a Hebrew school, or everything you learned about the Jewish religion and traditions and symbolism was from your mom?
Everything was from home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When we left out, you know, it was because even her synagogue was, we lived on what you would call the West Bank, or the west side of Louisiana. The synagogue was in New Orleans, so it was about a 30 to 40 minute drive.
Oh, that's a hike.
Yeah. So and that's where, you know, I guess that's what, because where we lived, where I grew up as a little one, it was bare to none. I mean, I didn't even have any Jewish friends in my neighborhood. It was predominantly Baptist. You had some Catholicism, but that was the main two religions in that area.
So are you taking it with you? Do you, when the Jewish holidays come around, do you observe them? Or
Yeah.
You do? You celebrate Rosh Hashanah?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're lighting a menorah tomorrow? I think even religious Jewish people, if they don't have kids, they might not always light a menorah.
I do. And even like some of the clients, it was a young lady who was in, because I mean, even like right now, I'm not, how could I say? So I'm not like super open, religious wise, and it's just because I typically avoid religious debates, I should say.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I have quite a few clients that come in on Sundays because of the Sabbath on a Saturday. And in the very beginning, which it was neat here. Ann Arbor is like another melting pot. So I actually, I would want to say that my reintroduction was major coming here, based off of coming here.
Right. Okay. Well, you're involved in a lot of organizations, and when I spoke to you before, I think I told you I'm doing a summit that's based around Jewish values and how people, how they use Jewish values to do what they're passionate about, or what drives them, what brings them success, and how it might be rooted in Jewish values. And when I read your resume, or not your resume, your About Us page, you're involved in a lot of organizations. I'm just going to read off a few of them. Where are they? Oh, here. I have your page here.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah. You're involved with the American, you speak on the board of the American Heart Association.
Uh-huh.
You're a sponsor and actively participate in the National Kidney Foundation of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
You work you're a member of the University of Michigan Comprehensive Cancer Center's community outreach programs.
Mm-hmm.
There are at least 2 or 3 others, and strength and conditioning with varsity athletes from many schools, high schools in the surrounding area. So it sounds like you have really embraced what you spoke about in the Army, why you were interested in going to this field, whatever attracted you to being a teacher, that it seems like something that drives you, that's almost a core value of yours, is giving back. And a couple of Jewish values are tikkun olam, healing the world, repairing the world, doing good for others, tzedakah, which is a responsibility to help others. So it sounds like these values were imbued in you, whether it's from your mother or from the Army or just from your own inclination. And that's, if you could just speak to what inspires you to give back like that.
Yeah, definitely. And again, both parents played a huge role from early upbringing even until now. I mean, I still hold open dialogue constantly about, and that's one of the questions that's always asked, like, okay, so what are you doing? Especially if I say a statement like, well, it's so much going on with the homeless epidemic. My father's, let's see, what is his saying? Problems without solutions are issues. So he says, if you're going to bring forth a problem, then be able to offer a solution, because if you can't, then you become part of the issue. So, when it comes to, I guess, all of that stuff, what drives me is to attempt to find a fix for any major issue, i.e. the homeless issue. So we have some charity drives that we're getting ready to kick off now. We have a coat giveaway. We go down and we feed the homeless once a week down at Liberty Square here.
Is that you and your team, or you organize other people as well?
Myself and my team.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we go out and we do a whole lot of stuff. We started working with traumatic brain injuries, spinal cord rehab, veterans, even the former NFL players. So we do a lot of work just trying to get people up and going. What sparked that is again just trying to do our part and trying to inspire other people to do their part. Because if we can get the spectrum going, then we honestly believe that a lot of the problems that exist can be fixed.
That's beautiful, beautiful. So I guess I'll just wrap this up, but I wanted to say, I wanted you to talk a bit about The Biggest Loser. How did they hear about you? And were you ever on TV, or you're a behind the scenes guy?
A little bit of both. So that was interesting. The way they heard about me, again, Michigan has a really big Biggest Loser alumni. We've had, I've trained 5 people from the Michigan area. And the way they heard about me, because when I initially came here, I used to work out at one of the local gyms. It's no longer here. So I remember the training director at the time, he says, you should look into becoming a trainer. And I says, yeah, I'm kind of, doing my own thing because the military. And then maybe a few months later, I says, well, I'll give it a shot. So after training there, I got approached by a contestant who had got voted off the show, and he was here. So he says, hey, you know, I'm still in the running, so I'd like to get with you to get some help. Long story short, I helped that client, and he ended up winning the at-home challenge. That was back in season 2. So a little bit of time went by, and then season 4, season 7, the biggest season was season 9, and then season 11. So in season 9, you would have seen me on the show with the black team and the yellow team. The yellow team was O'Neill and Sunshine Hampton, and the black team was Darrow and Drea Huff. The black team was Michigan, and the yellow team was Minnesota. Yeah, but the other seasons, it was mainly behind the scenes.
Are you still affiliated with the show, or they'll call you when they want?
I still work with all of my former contestants. I just had to slow down. The last time I did anything with the show was 2014. I haven't done anything because I've shifted the focus back to the traumatic brain injury and the spinal cord. So we still work obesity epidemic, but right now we're really in the whole neurological approach to health and wellness as well.
So how do you do that? You go into the hospitals, or patients come to you for you to help them heal with physical fitness?
A little bit of both. We have an excellent relationship with some of the neurologists here. So we do home visits, we do hospital visits, we do referrals here. And what would typically happen in that case is the doctors would determine the next step for the patient. Sometimes they'll send the patient directly to a physical therapist, and sometimes they send them directly to us. If they go to a physical therapist, then they transition from physical therapy into us for their fitness therapy and further rehab.
Okay, well, that is all very interesting. So sounds like a study should be written about the effectiveness of, because I never heard of the correlation of exercise benefiting traumatic brain injury.
Oh, it's a lot of materials that's already written.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that with your own eyes, with your own experience.
Yeah. Even I write a monthly column for my magazine as well, and we've done a few columns on it.
Right. That's so interesting. Well, Demonds, I'm so happy you joined me on the call. It was great getting to meet you, and just want to say you're A2 Fitness Professionals in Ann Arbor, Michigan, right?
Yes.
So if anybody watching wants to hook up with a, is it a fitness center? It's like a regular workout gym with personal trainers, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just press stop record now. So I'm just going to say goodbye, but stay on the line, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.